Hello, friends and best friends, it's me, Nirvana, the band. How you doing? Welcome back. From the looks of both the Java snapshots and Bedrock previews, though the spring update has continued to heat up over the past couple of weeks, well, it's been heating up just a little bit more slowly. It's as if somebody turned the oven down a couple of notches in order to anticipate the ending of the spring update. Tragically, it's gotta end at some point, right? With that being said, though, there are still many strange things 100% missing from the spring drop. Today, that's why we're gathered here together. Subscribe for more cool videos all the time, and let's jump right in. Disclaimer, for today's video, we're not talking about hints. We're going to talk about things that are actually inside of the update. Let's play a little game. If you can think of something that's still missing, tell me about it down below. Chapter numero uno, the certains. For today's video, I've gone ahead and split everything up into basically 3 generalized categories. Main menu, panorama. Every single update, or I guess a drop, most of the drops nowadays get one. We didn't have one for the Bundles of Bravery. We had one for the Pale Garden drop. There's no way we don't have one for this one, right? Like, all of those juicy new mobs? Come on. The last time our main menu screen was changed was Minecraft Snapshot 24W44A. That was about 2 or 3 snapshots before the culmination, the end of the Pale Garden saga. I don't know, maybe they'll cross my words this week, but it's definitely weird that we still haven't seen a new panorama, right? Ooh, the spring drop, but check out this juicy, beautiful name. With the help of a handy little tool, I made it myself. Oh, no, you don't have to applause. There's nothing special. Big fancy new updates or drops, whatever they want to try and make me call them. It seems like they always have fancy names. I like this new era of Minecraft updates, where we transitioned over to drops, and drops are allegedly, and from the looks of everything we've gotten inside of the game this year so far, definitely looks to be the case that things are speeding up. I like it, but I feel like we could do with a little change when it comes to an update name. I guess it's more of an argument for another time, but I totally feel that update names should be revealed a little bit earlier on in the cycle, especially if drops are not like forever, they're not for a whole year. And nowadays, though, it seems that Mojang is putting less emphasis on the name of a Minecraft update than ever before. The Garden Awakens drop. We learned that name on November 27th. This was about a week or so before the release of the full update. And speaking of releases, unless we're in perpetual development forever, the spring drop a big boogaloo with an update never slated for release. Well, we need a release date. If anything, at this point, I'm starting to think that we'll learn the release date of this new spring drop update pretty shortly, like not very long before the spring drop actually drops. Maybe we'll learn the update release date officially, and then the update will be here like 2-3 weeks later. No matter what, though, a date and a name, we absolutely need those things. For this next category, we'll call it I don't know, maybe the maybes. This category is for a bunch of the things, mainly, that are already inside of the update that are just, like, completely off in some way or something. This category is for those things that should be fixed or added before the release of this full update, but I guess you never know. The Firefly Bush. It's an amazing brand new block. When this new update drops, you should be able to get your hands on this thing without too much trouble. Even less trouble if you're on Java. Because of both the quirks of world generation and this new placement system that the Firefly Bush is using, it will probably never be in perfect parity on Java and Bedrock, but it's noticeably less common on Bedrock. Another problem that we've got here when it comes to the Firefly Bush, you might be able to notice it here with these paint particles all over the place, like quite literally, but, well, they reach so far and wide. So the best way to show this off here is a quick side-by-side. On Java Edition, 3 Firefly Bushes. We place them down in the dead of night so we can see all of the particles, and I mean, yeah, we do have a lot of nice particles. The ambiance is great here. I love this thing. But man, it's not really close here. If you had a chart with like the 2 different versions, kind of like this one right here, and one of the entries was Fireflies, well, the check for Fireflies would be on Bedrock Edition, because on Bedrock, from a single Firefly bush, particles will be created a little bit more, and they can be created up to 10 blocks away. That's double what it is on Java. With an update all about plants, feels like they would totally, like, really lock in on this stuff and make sure it's exactly the same. I'm so sad about this one. Like, genuinely, that's why I flipped the whole video into black and white, not even to be dramatic. In fact, the only thing that'll bring the color back into my life is if, real quick, you haven't already, go down below the video and tap like for me. An update with a huge emphasis and focus on plants and snow logging. The updates about the warm features, whatever, you say what you want, but snow logging feels like this would have been the perfect time to be able to actually, like, you know, snow log plants, not leaves, plants inside of Minecraft and Java Edition. With the big focus on plants in this update, and it being 2025, how is it not here? It's about time we put some pressure on Mojang for this one. Beacons. They actually received a pretty nice, hefty upgrade in one of the earlier Java snapshots for this update. Essentially, beacon beams, they're going to not only render into the world slightly differently, but also be visible from like 1,000,000 trillion times further away. It's a really, really nice change. Meanwhile, on Bedrock, to this very day, well, somehow, beacons don't even have beams. or something like that. A low-key spawning change that was made at some point on Minecraft Bedrock, but not on Java. It has to do with the savanna biome and donkeys. Donkeys are now able to be found spawning inside of the savanna biome on Bedrock. I don't believe that to be the case on Java. It's sort of like the camel change that was made with the desert spawning, super cool and nice. So for now, we'll throw it into this big box of maybes too. If Mojang has already got to this one by chance and I messed up, well, great props to them. And last but not least, this is a little bit of an honorable mention because we do have a system built for it on Bedrock Edition. It's just a little bit different, but the test block. The test block and every single one of their different variants. So I'll make it really clear that I know Bedrock already has a system built for testing instances and tests and whatever built in. It's just kind of different than how it is on Java. It's interesting that they would build out a new system for Java Edition and to not even really consider revamping the Bedrock one or anything like that. They probably never have the intention to bring this stuff into perfect parity between the two versions, but I just figured I'd throw it in here. So lads, we made it. If this were an iceberg chart, we'd be at the deepest depths here. These next things we'll talk about. Well, we'll call this area the Missing Mysteries. As it stands right now, these are things that is unclear if were ever actually intended for the update. But with the update covering what it has covered, it feels odd to not have them here. Alright, so first things first, listen. You hear that? That's right. Nothing. Minecraft's biome variant update. You can't really call that a warm biome update because of course you have tons of brand new cold variant mobs as well. But like the snow biomes or Minecraft's basement child or something in the desert, their favorite one, what's up with all the ambiance? Listen. You walk around, traverse this biome for 1 second inside of this new era for Minecraft, and the wind it billows and caresses your ears. You feel so alive and immersed, and well, inside of the desert and the Badlands biome, there's so much beautiful ambiance. But slide things over to the other half of this update, at least when it comes to mob variants, and there's absolutely nothing. Zoom the picture out even further through the entire overworld, and why did 2 biomes get an ambiance update, but yet every other biome in the entire game gets nothing? Like, not even cricket sounds inside of the forest. Music, I love it. It's literally music to my ears. For the longest time, Mojang would always add new music and soundtracks to an update. Especially, at least for the most part. Of course, there's exceptions, but especially if an update took place inside of a specific, well, place. Whether that's a specific biome or a certain structure, the trial chambers, there was always a new soundtrack, usually. Minecraft always used to like to have different, unique soundtracks play inside of their new places, and that's completely missing from the update. With how new music used to always be the staple for a new Minecraft update, this could almost be thrown into the last category, the maybes. They didn't do it for the bundle drop, they didn't do it for the Pale Garden drop. I mean, be it there's no sounds inside of the Pale Garden, but yeah, I just wasn't sure. It's just odd that not a single track has been added to the game for this entire overworld overhaul so far. Like, they totally could have done it like they did with the ambiance and only add a new track for the desert and Badlands. Weird. Another strange thing that I don't get about not only this drop, but the last drop is advancements. There are so many great ones inside of the game, and the system, I mean, it's a great way to point you towards finding different new content inside of the game that you might not have even really known about. I can't believe there were none for the Pale Garden drop, and I still can't believe there's none for this one too. I mean, come on, a cool firefly advancement for picking up and finding a firefly bush, an advancement for collecting the different dog sound variants, or heck, even a new advancement for breeding 2 different temperature variant mobs. The opportunities for new advancements, they're all over the place. The actual implementation, completely missing. Throwing this next one in here real quick because I guess you never know. They could keep it inside of previews, but the pause screen on Bedrock Edition, though it has undergone a lot of nice improvements over the past couple of weeks, including actually being able to pause the animations of blocks now. Week after week, it still seems like the devs are putting more work into the pause screen. I'm not sure if this change will end up making it into the full release for the update, so I don't know. Don't want to linger on it for too much longer, but I don't know. There are just some things like the crosshair appearing and disappearing that are still a little bit odd. We made a lot of progress so far today. If you're still here, I salute you. This one's a big one, kind of a doozy, but textures. Inside of this brand new update, well, there's a whole lot of focus on brand new textures and diversification of different things inside of the game. One of our biggest ones here is, of course, the spawn egg. And gone are the days of not being able to tell what spawn egg is what spawn egg, because now with these juicy brand new looks, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to tell what these eggs are, at least for the most part. Throwing us back towards the beginning of this snapshot cycle, it might have been 25W03A, and if not that specific one, a bunch of the early snapshots inside of this update. Well, those early snapshots made a bunch of new things possible when it comes to textures inside of the vanilla game. So one of those things, in order to make the game a little bit easier to just like look at and understand, comprehend, we've got all those spawn eggs. Happened in the update before, the banner patterns, those are all really easy to tell what's going on now. There are still a couple things inside of the game though that are like the 90s. I'm not sure if it would happen inside of this update, but it would make a whole lot of sense to be in this update. Potions. Within the confines of the vanilla game, we can now actually diversify the look of every single potion. Imagine an invisibility potion that isn't just white, but like actually looks, I don't know, not invisible because then you can't see it, but you know, like something like invisibility. Gotta receive some kind of update at some point, right? But the biggest one of all that is so dusty, it's so old, it's sick, I can't almost not even talk about it. Enchanted books. What in the world is going on with these things? They've been the same forever, and like this many items that are just the same texture inside the game, that feels so weird. With all the changes that Mojang made earlier on in this season of the update, and with the spawn egg changes, other texture changes inside of this update, well, it totally feels like maybe it's time for the enchanted book to get a little bit more interesting looking, with the textures maybe relating to what the enchantment actually is in some way. Those ones are probably just wishful thinking, but those changes are definitely going to happen at some point. Our metaphorical iceberg, these things, they're at the very bottom of it. A little abstract. Minecraft updates, when it comes to them, they usually have a star of the show. The Pale Garden drop was the creaking, the bundle drop, well, that was the bundle. This drop is great, really. Like, I love everything that's being implemented. It's really nice, but it definitely feels like everything that has been implemented, well, these are a little bit of like background features. Definitely not like the star of the show or anything like that. If we are to have a singular star of the show for this update, well, where is it? I don't know, you call me fixated, obsessed, whatever, but these yellow flowers almost feels like there could be a flower cow, a little yellow guy that could be the star of the show. I don't know how else to say it, really. It just feels a little odd that there's not like a single big star inside of this update quite yet. And then, last but not least, blocks. So every single Minecraft update doesn't necessarily have to add a brand new block into the game. After all, the Bundles of Bravery drop obviously added an item, but I don't think it really added a new drop. But it's kind of weird that inside of this update so far, we don't even have like a hollow log or something. Not a single new building block. Of course, other than the plants. Those are nice. In fact, if you think about it, the only blocks inside of this update are on one version of the game, and they are technical blocks, the test blocks. What do you think? Does this update need a new building block, something? Is it missing something else that I completely forgot in today's video? Because if it is, tell me all about it down below. Tap that like button and subscribe for more. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. It's been me, Bonzo, the writer, of course. And hopefully we learn a little bit more about the ending of this update sometime soon. Until tomorrow, it's been me, Waddles. Goodbye, everyone.